one of the world's fastest SUVs. The Lamborghini Urus is what happens when the maker of the planet's most outlandish supercars turns its hand to a large 5-door family car with proper ground clearance and off-road ability. On paper it's a clash of purposes, in reality it's a mouth-watering prospect. Can Lamborghini inject some real supercar DNA into a 2.2-ton SUV that shares its underpinnings with the Audi Q7, Bentley Bentayga and Porsche Cayenne? Can it justify the £165,000 price tag when you can have a SQ7 for £74,000? And can someone tell us why it put the rear door handle where it did? It's been a horrifying long-term trust that the 2012 Urus idea will transform into the creation vehicle here. Yet Lamborghini is a minuscule organization, remember, selling only 3,500 vehicles every year, a figure it desires to twofold with the Urus. Getting this vehicle right could sling Lamborghini into an alternate circle, with more cash to construct more bushy-arsed supercars we know and love. It's the reason there's a substantial inclination, at the dispatch occasion in Rome, that this vehicle matters, profoundly, to every single representative. Disappointment isn't an alternative. The Urus shows up riding on the influx of a SUV blast. Bentley has taken rough terrain extravagance to another level. The £300,000 Rolls Royce Cullinan is practically around the bend. Jeep is caught up with pushing Hellcat motors into the Grand Cherokee, and even Ferrari is investigating its alternatives. In any case, for the present at any rate, the Urus remains solitary as the world's sole genuine super SUV. How about we trust it can satisfy the charging? Number 1. What's new for 2021? Lamborghini makes the 2021 Urus more unquestionable, if that is even conceivable, by giving it more stunning paint choices. These incorporate either dazzling green, orange, or yellow as a component of the new Pearl Capsule appearance bundle. This pack adds differentiating 23-inch wheels just as dark trim pieces on the rooftop, back diffuser, and spoiler. Regardless of whether the outside is covered in giallo inti, yellow, Arancio Borealis, orange, or Verde Mantis, green, the Lodge's upholstery is shaded to coordinate with when combined with the new bundle. Alongside a few other new paint decisions, the biggest Lambo currently has more standard driver helps, versatile journey control and vulnerable side observing, and modest bunch of other new norm and discretionary highlights. The 2021 Urus is likewise more costly than the active model, with an extra $10,683 attached onto its beginning cost. That might be the lone thing about the Urus that goes unseen. Number 2. What is it like on the road? How about we quit wasting time? Indeed, we're all pitiful that Lamborghini hasn't plumbed in either its psychopathic V10 or operatic V12. Yet we're told they will live on in the substitutes for the Aventador and Huracan, yet with mixture help. What's more, we should get some point of view here. A 4.0-liter twin Super V8 creating 641 bhp and 627 pound-feet of force, from simply 2,250 revolutions per minute, is a capable substitute. What it needs fires up. The red line is 6,800 revolutions per minute. It compensates for in-rib pounding force, at whatever point you need it, whatever proportion you wind up in the 8-speed auto. Out on the Vallelunga circuit, it's scarcely credible the way this high-riding 2-ton family vehicle flings itself out of corners, quick and level. I genuinely don't figure it would be excessively far behind a standard Huracan in the event that you got the stopwatch out. The key, obviously, is innovation. Mass veiling, material science battering, driver complementing innovation. Similar as the Porsche 911 started its existence with a characteristic weight unevenness that has been designed out throughout the long term, the quick SUV is an inherently imperfect idea in itself. However, Lamborghini has tossed everything the VW Group can gather at it to guarantee it drives like something its size and shape truly shouldn't. Four-wheel directing, for instance, that turns the backs by ±3 degrees. This implies at low velocities, where they go inverse to the front tires, the virtual wheelbase is more limited than a Huracan, helpful for fasteners and restricted parking spots. In higher speed circumstances, where they go with the fronts, it implies unshakable solidness, like the level 5th gear right-hander toward the finish of the Vallunga start-finish straight. Jerk your wrists and it goes, quickly, never faltering from its line. The guiding is sharp, not with any helpful criticism, but rather without slack. At that point there's the dynamic move solidness control, which firms up the external suspension in quick corners keeping you level with the skyline, yet can likewise decouple each wheel when you're pounding down an earth track. It's conceivably the most amazing piece of tech in plain view, practically nullifying the higher focal point of gravity. Not far behind is the force vectoring combo of a middle torsion diff, picked for its unwavering quality and speed, says Lamborghini, and a legitimate dynamic back differential. Floor it out of a sharp corner and the manner in which the vehicle squats and drives you out, as opposed to tweaking the brakes to prevent you from understeering, is black magic. Credit should go to the Urus tires. Pirelli P0s are standard, yet we were utilizing the discretionary super tacky Casas on target. At that point there's Pirelli Scorpions if rough terrain is your thing, and full winters on the off chance that it gets crisp. What's more, we should not fail to remember the standard carbon artistic brakes, the biggest fitted to any creation vehicle, and kid do you need them. Pulling 2.2 tons down from 150 miles per hour is a significant undertaking, yet they were nothing however strong. As a matter of fact the pedal has a fairly soft feel, to make them simpler to regulate out and about, yet keep it covered and the halting force is there. On the off chance that there's a frail connection, it's the gearbox. In full fat Casa mode it fires home upshifts with a superfluous force spike that conveys a kick toward the back, in addition to it very well may be somewhat torpid on downshifts, recognizably more so than the Huracan's twin clutcher. The result is smooth, slurred advancement when you dial everything down in strata mode and simply journey along. We understand that hooning around a track isn't really how the Urus will be utilized, however we drove at saner rates, on open streets, as well and can affirm it'll do the school run and significant distance stuff effortlessly. We should discuss the clamor. Put any ideas of the Urus sounding distantly like its V10 and V12 engine siblings to bed immediately, in light of the fact that where the Huracan barks and screams, the Urus woofles and thunders. It is anything but an upsetting sound, an inauspicious thunder working to a harder-edged blast as you approach the limiter. It's simply a disgrace its kin sounds so damn great. There are brakes and flies on downshifts, a flare on fire up, yet the dramatization feels combined, not inherent. All things considered, may I allude you to the passage depicting its out-of-control speed increase. Definitely, there's consistently that. Your motor's modes are genuinely obvious. In expanding levels of hostility there's Strata, Sport and Casa, the last two firming up and dropping the air suspension by 15 mm, while weighting up the guiding, honing up the choke and gearbox and opening up the lines. Then again you can go after your self-image, switch and select your boundaries independently. Allow me to save you the time. On the track you need Casa, out and about you need greatest assault for the powertrain, the center setting for the guiding and the gentlest suspension. The one disturbance is that the volume increments with the powertrain settings, not on a different catch. Thus, in the event that you need full volume, you need to endure a gearbox doing a dodgy impression of a WRC consecutive. 3 further modes are saved for rough terrain tricks: Terra, Sabia, Neve, Rock, Sand, Snow. Select any of these and the suspension rises 40 mm higher than in Strata. Regardless of whether it can shake slither like a Range Rover stays not yet clear. However, Lamborghini did lay on a soil rally stage to demonstrate that the Urus can oversee huge knocks at speed and embrace some entertaining points while doing it. In the event that you live on a homestead, you're in for a treat. Number 3. Inside layout, finish and space. You may envision that chasing energy and a low roofline. The Urus is 100 mm lower than the Q7 or Bentayga. Inside space would be totally undermined. However, it's not completely. In spite of that slanting roofline and siphoned back tire curve, space in the back is shockingly obliging. We're talking a 6-footer behind a 6-footer with a touch of head and space to breathe to save, and a 616-liter, 1,596 liters with the back seats down, boot behind that. Toward the front, there's the perfect measure of claustrophobia. Albeit the view out is barely undermined by the high window line, you sit low, cuddled inside the midsection of the vehicle as opposed to roosted on its shoulders. The seats are agreeable, not the skeletal instruments of torment you get in sportier adaptations of the Huracan and Aventador. Indeed, we chased high and low and couldn't discover one ergonomic bad dream. It's every one of the a long ways from the day Countach proprietors needed to swing open the entryway and sit on the ledge to switch. Encompassing you is a cutting edge inside with every one of the quality characteristics of an Audi, yet clean to be a Lambo. Wherever you look there's hexagons, points and Alcantara. The primary switchgear, particularly the starter button under a flip cover and the stuff selector, are intended to feel thick and mechanical, just like the Anima switch that allows you to flip through your driving modes. It's the Yorkie bar focus reassure of the vehicle world. The highlight is a 3-screen design lifted from the Audi A8 catapulting the Urus to an electronic age in front of the Bentayga and Q7. In the driver's seat is the now recognizable advanced instrument bunch, while in the middle support the upper screen deals with route, infotainment, your phone and vehicle settings. The lower screen is your interface for environment control, warmed seats and a virtual composing cushion in the event that you prefer jot your objective in as opposed to looking over and clicking. Number 4. Running costs and reliability. While there's really space for the entire family, in addition to a marginally panicked canine in the boot, running the Urus won't be Skoda Kodiaq modest. Lamborghini claims, because of a sharp chamber deactivation framework that stopped 4 chambers beneath 3,000 revolutions per minute, leaving you with 173 pound-feet of force to work with, this is its most eco-friendly vehicle ever. Plainly, that is relative on the grounds that 22.2 mpg and 290 grams per kilometer of CO2 is as yet juicier than most things with a number plate. All things considered, the 85-liter gas tank implies you can reasonably expect more than 400 miles between fill-ups. Alternatives insightful, we'd recommend staying away from the individual back seat choice and staying with the standard seat. That way you can overlay the back seats when you need an extended boot. The rest is dependent upon you. However, remembering this is a 165,000 pounds vehicle even before you have jiggy with the configurator, be cautioned that things can get extremely expensive, rapidly. Lastly, there's the social viewpoint. General assessment on SUVs has relaxed significantly throughout the most recent 5 years, and they're not, at this point, apparent as the gas hogs they used to be. However, even so, a Lamborghini SUV is a solid picture to project. One not every person will appreciate. The Urus' most serious issue is presumably no immediate adversaries. Yet the way that for 165,000 pounds you could get yourself another Range Rover and a Porsche 911 to blat around in at the ends of the week.